Welcome to Holistic Accountant Podcast, where we aim to showcase how adopting a holistic approach in accounting and tax maximizes value for clients. Beyond traditional tasks like preparing financial statements and tax returns, a holistic accountant focuses on offering advice that maximizes personal wealth on an after-tax basis. If you enjoy this episode, please consider leaving a rating and sharing it with those who might also benefit. And to ensure you stay updated, subscribe to our weekly email. The link is in the show notes. Okay, so Meena and I today would like to tell you all about our mistakes and learnings with respect to hiring and building a team. And let's be honest, building a team within a business, a successful team, it's one of your key roles as an entrepreneur and as a business owner. And if you can do that effectively and do that really well, you can grow a business and your business will be successful. But you can't grow an amazing business with average quality people. It's really the people make the big difference. The people can drive the process, can drive the product, which are the other two P's, I think, that are critical in having a successful business. And so what Meena and I decided to do is sit down and think about, what are our top 10 mistakes or learnings from hiring a team? And we thought we could share them with you here today, because obviously they're very practical, obviously us being in business for such a long time. The first one that I wanted to start with was a fantastic question. I can't really remember where I heard this, and I wish I could. I certainly can't take credit for it. But it was put to me that an excellent question that you can ask yourself is, would you enthusiastically rehire everyone in your business? And the key word here in that sentence is enthusiastically rehire. And if you can't answer yes to that question, then you've got a people problem that needs solving. You either need to, go through a performance management process or reallocate those people to different roles or give them additional training, whatever it might be, but you've got a people problem that needs solving. If you can answer yes to that question, you're killing it. And it means you've probably got yourself a fantastic team, and it's likely representing in the results. And the other important things you need to do is every couple of months ask that question, because things can change. We all know that you can have a superstar employee that's killing it, and then 2 or 3 months later, unfortunately, their performance has slipped for whatever reason. So it's not something that you just want to ask every year. I think asking it every 2 or 3 months is a really good idea.
The next one to consider is to hire slowly but fire fast. So what that means is be quite selective in terms of the staff that you bring on, because they are a representation of you and your business. No matter how sort of desperate you are to put a bum on seat or fill a role, it doesn't provide any excuse to hire the wrong person, because it could be a sinking ship after that. It's important to also, after you, as Stuart said, question yourself after every few months. If they're not performing, get rid of the staff. Get rid of that staff member. They're dead weight. They could diminish your brand and your business. So it's very important for you to act quick. You can only grow as fast as your slowest employee. So it's really important to surround yourself with the right employees to help you grow your business.
A big mistake, so number 3, is just retaining the person because they're nice or they're trying hard or they've got the right values. There used to be this sort of common theme around their hire for attitude and values, which is true, of course, but at the end of the day, the person needs to be able to do the job. And the thing that I've done is retained an underperforming employee just because they're doing their best and they're trying their hardest and they're great people and, they've got awesome values, but ultimately kind of drowning in the job. Now, of course, you can't just turn around and sack those people. You've got to take them through a process of, trying to get them up to speed and give them all they need. But at the end of the day, the kindest thing you can do to that person and yourself is be realistic. Are they actually going to thrive in the role? Remember, you don't want them just to be doing an okay job. You want them to thrive. And do they have the skill set and personality and abilities to be able to thrive in that role? Because if not, well, you need to find another role in the business for them, or in fact, you need to find another role outside of the business for them. But either way, they're not going to really help you achieve your goals.
And a fourth mistake is not being able to have the difficult conversations. And I know they're not for everyone, but it's extremely imperative. I know what we do in the business now is when we hire someone new, we actively perform performance manage them actually from the very start to communicate what our expectations are. Otherwise they establish bad habits, you let things go because you provide excuses for yourself in that they're still new, they're still learning, but if you're clear and concise from the start, you're able to set the expectations going forward. So it's very important to communicate constantly throughout the inception of the employment period. As well as it's a big cost of not to have these conversations because they could be performing very well at the start of employment, they could be delivering on your goals and targets, but things can change as we mentioned before. So it's important to stay on top of these conversations and to communicate quite often with your staff.
The fifth learning we want to share with you is that, in my view, in the first 3 months, you shouldn't have any concerns whatsoever. Now, it's really easy to explain away some concerns, and it's kind of natural to do it, but you've got to catch yourself out. So, for example, someone's making a couple of mistakes. Well, you go, they're just new, they're just learning the process, they're just doing this. It's understandable and actually reasonable and realistic, except for the fact that the perfect person for that role probably won't make those mistakes. And so I call it out as not something that you need to be necessarily absolutely rigid with, but something to be really mindful of, that if you're hiring new team members and, they've had some problems in the first 3 months, that perhaps it's a really good red flag or a really important red flag that they're not necessarily right for your business long term.
And the sixth mistake is surrounding yourself with average people. The biggest mistake you could do is actually put average people just to fill a role and just build them up with more average people to substitute a void in the business. Volume is not the answer. Quality is the answer. Get quality staff to help. Yes, you might be paying them more, but on the flip side of the coin is that you might be having to just get more staff to fill a void, and that will actually cost you more than paying a single individual more money. So make sure that you build a team with quality people.
Now, on the financial planning side of our business, we use what's called an evidence-based approach. That is, that we'll use a investment methodology or approach where there's an overwhelming body of evidence that demonstrates that it works. In the long term, we'll get the returns that we need. The same thing with hiring. You want an evidence-based approach. So if you're hiring for a particular role, the least risky approach is to hire someone that's already been able to achieve similar results for other businesses in that exact role. Resumes matter. A really good, talented person will have a great resume, and this is more obviously for professional services, won't lend itself to every industry, but hiring for attitude is important. You want to have the right attitude. That's almost like a must-have, it's a no-brainer. But focusing on the resume, some of the traps that I've fallen into over the years is that you meet someone, come across as a really nice person, great attitude, hasn't necessarily done the job before, but you think they've got the skill set and you want to give them a go. And that's a lovely thing to do, but just realize it's a higher risk proposition. I'm not saying it won't work, it's just higher risk. And if you want to minimize business risk, find someone that's already treaded that path and hire that person.
The next mistake is not actually providing the tools and resources for your great staff. We always have a saying in our business is that when something goes wrong, blame the system, not the people. So it's really important to provide your great people with, the right systems, the right training, the right tools, and give them the ability to provide innovative ideas to improve your business, because the good staff will do that. They will come up with recommendations or ideas to improve your systems, your processes, or your business as a whole.
Yeah, it amazes me, Mina, how many businesses don't actually resource properly or give employees the right tools. And it's a false economy because, obviously employees cost a lot of money, particularly in financial services and professional services. They're an expensive part of the business. So to not give them the tools to be able to do their best work, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. The ninth lesson is employees are not robots. Humans are not robots. There's that saying, you get out of life what you put into it. It's the same with employees. It's not just a case of saying, here's the job description, we'll pay you every fortnight and expect everything to work perfectly without any further effort. You really have to show that you care. You've got to be able to build a relationship with that person, which is not to say, in fact, it's not to say to become best friends with them. That just muddies the relationship. You don't want to do that necessarily, but you do want to build a good professional relationship with them. Show them you care, give them regular feedback, thank them when they've done a great job. Everyone responds better to positive feedback rather than negative feedback. So find opportunities to provide that positive feedback and realize that you've got to carve off a little bit of time to listen to them, to make sure that they're looked after and to, again, respond to any concerns that they've got. So if a staff member's coming to you and saying, we need this or this isn't working, that person won't be around for very long if you don't actually respond to that need and fix that problem.
The last thing, or the last mistake that you could make, is not wanting to spend the money on recruitment consultants. The right recruitment consultant can add tremendous value. Now, I know a lot of them come off as salesy, and probably the wrong ones do, but the right ones would be focused on creating long-term value with you and your business, because they know they're going to get repeat recruits from you. And needless to say, they have experience in the arena, so they know how to vet candidates before they come to you, because they might present really well on paper and they might present really well in an interview, but a recruitment consultant can see any gaps that you can't see in the first sort of meeting. So it's really important to be willing to spend the money on that recruitment consultant, because it'll save you a great deal of time and money trying to recruit the right people, as well as it could actually save you a lot of money in the long term by hiring the wrong person.
Yeah, they cost a bit of money, but building an amazing team certainly generates a whole lot more value. Okay, so there are our 10 lessons for building a team, hiring people and managing a team. Hopefully that's a bit of food for thought and that you can lend off some of our 20 plus years of experience. I should point out, in season 3 last year, episode 20, we recorded an episode around when should you start employing staff. So if you're a startup or a new business that's growing, that episode might be interesting for you to check out. And until next week, bye for now.